Even though the finale for Stranger Things is done, dusted, and disappointing, let's keep all the D words in, there is a segment of its fan base that is simply unable to come to terms with the fact that the finale was just horrendous. So much so that they've been trying to compile every little snippet of what they believe to be secrets and code and theory crafting and conformity crafting, and there is now an extra unreleased special 9th legitimate episode finale of the show, which is gonna air yesterday, and it didn't. This is nuts. They're crazy, people. But I would like to extend my hand and say welcome to the party, because we've been dealing with this in our franchises for over a decade now. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. If there's one thing that I've learned from the series finale of Stranger Things, it's that the world is absolutely full of stark raving lunatics. It's as simple as that. It seems that there is a massive segment of the Stranger Things fan base that is simply unable to cope with the fact that the finale was just awful, is absolutely terrible. Now, my position on Stranger Things as a show as a whole is, I think in general, it's just a mid show. Ooh, I think the first season was very good indeed, and I very much enjoyed it. But season 2 was a bad attempt to recreate season 1. Season 3 was absolutely all over the place. Season 4 was a return to form in terms of tone, at least, and Vecna was a good introduction. However, the cast of characters were disintegrating around us, and it was expanding by a huge rate of knots, and I'm not just talking about me here. So much so that the characters that we'd loved along the way were getting little to no screen time, and these ancillary characters were now dominating proceedings, and they were bloody awful. So by the time we got to season 5, I only had to see 16.5 minutes of episode 1 and I'd checked out, but came back for the finale. And what was probably worse for me about the finale was the fact that I felt like I'd missed nothing in season 5 at all to get to where we were. But the finale didn't stick the landing at all. It was dreadful, like really, really dreadful. And that's broken a lot of people who wanted answers to questions and a satisfactory ending to this story, which they never got. And so what happens is cope and a huge amount of insanity brought on most likely by medication, that this can't be the end. And so they were trying to look at every single aspect of the show. Well, this is pointing to this and this must mean that. And yes, it's the whole Sherlock thing over again. And they've come up with the theory that there is a secret 9th episode that is going to air, but it's not aired because it doesn't exist. There were some very basic questions which viewers wanted answers to. First of all, why were there no demigorgons in the finale? Why were there no demon dogs? Why were there no bats to attack our intrepid heroes? Well, the Duffer Brothers attempted to give an answer. In a recent interview with The Wrap, Stranger Things creators Matt and Ross Duffer explained why Vecna didn't summon his demigorgons, dogs, and I was going to say something that rhymed with dogs, but I think I would have been kicked off the internet, and bats against Elle and her friends during the final fight. They confirmed that Vecna was actually blindsided by their sneak attack. Vecna, of course, who was in the mind of Will and could see what was going. Oh, yeah. People weren't accepting these stupid answers. And in actual fact, as what tends to happen in circumstances like this, fans come to the rescue. And probably what is more disturbing than that is fans come to the rescue that don't have a $400 million budget for season 5, and they fix things, at least as best they can. This one fan took some of the footage from that finale fight, spliced it together with their own CGI creations of the Demogorgons, putting together bits of Will, who was using his power against Vecna, and then, well, actually created a reason why this army of Demogorgons and bats and demon dogs, etc., weren't in the final fight because they were taken out by Will. I mean, this works to a large degree. And why this wasn't put into the episode was so absolutely mind-numbingly bizarre. But there again, fans tend to care a lot more than, well, let's just say some people are probably more incentivized by just taking their paychecks. Now, this might sound a little bit harsh against the Duffer Brothers. After all, I think virtually everybody is in agreement with each other that season 1 of Stranger Things was fantastic. And the fact that it is an original IP, their own creation. They didn't jump in to an existing one and mucked about with that. But when you look at all the series together, they were simply unable to really build on that first season until the introduction of Vecna in season 4. And whereas there are absolutely some good moments and good character pieces scattered around the place, there is a lot of worthless dross in there as well. And season 5 felt like they just hadn't a real clue how to answer the questions which they had posed, because this is the problem that you have with mystery box television. This is the problem that you have when you want to create lots of questions and what's this and what's that and what's the other, but you yourself don't have any satisfactory answers. It's Jar Jar Abrahams all over again, and they backed themselves into a corner where they simply couldn't write something that was satisfactory, and therefore really kind of let the series down at the end and really let these characters down at the end. And when you back yourself into a corner, unfortunately, you start to write shields in an effort to protect you from criticism due to the lack of direction of the actual show itself. And so you get stuff like this.
I don't like girls. What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, that wasn't quite the clip that appeared in the show, but it was more realistic than the clip that appeared in the show. Will's coming out scene in the penultimate episode of the series went down like a lead balloon with audiences, mainly because a lot of them logically explained how the world was literally falling apart around you, and you feel that this is the right time to just say, hey everyone, let's put all the attention on me. I'm gay. It felt like Kevin Spacey after he'd been caught with it. Anyway, don't worry about that. I don't want to end up dead. But it got to the point where the Duffer Brothers were answering a lot of questions after the finale to the degree that fans were absolutely peppering them and their answers were simply not accepted. And so they just said, hey, can you cut us some slack, please? Oh, those poor millionaires. I really shouldn't have done these post-mortem interviews, Matt Duffer said. I am not in a good place. Like, why the hell did we do any of them yesterday is beyond me. I'm like fried. I was getting over the flu, so anyone mad at any answers we gave you yesterday, just cut me some slack. Why? I mean, after all, if your answers were properly thought out, because you had decided where things were going to go and why they happened for a specific reason, there would be no reason for you to defend the answers that you were giving, whether or not you were flu-ridden or not, because that's as it should be according to you. What you were mad about was the fact that the answers were shit and they made no sense. And that's why you started to get very defensive. Now, thee and me, we've been down this road many times with beloved franchises before and how they've totally fallen apart. So it's kind of water off a duck's back. But a lot of the Stranger Things fandom just couldn't handle that finale. And so they started to create this entity, I think in an effort to bring it to life by sheer willpower, that there was a secret final episode that would be dropping. Well, I think it's meant to be actually at midnight tonight, which it's not going to do, of course. And so it began.
I think I'm about to do it again. If you click this comment right here, it's going to bring you to a video where I predicted the ending of Stranger Things. I'm about to predict something else, and it's not going to be based off of clips of episodes. It's going to be based off of legal due process.
I'm going to predict something too, that you take your medication at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. every day.
First, you have to think about who the fan base is of Stranger Things. You could put us into two buckets, and we're both going to feel very differently about that finale. The first bucket are going to be the people that are there for the story, the action, the characters, the buildup, the nostalgia that they get from there. And you're going to have this bucket right here, and that's the bucket that I fall into. Something that you should know about me before we get started is my special interests are people, puzzles, and problems, and that's exactly what this is. And if those are your special interests as well, it's probably one of the reasons that you love Stranger Things.
People, puzzles, and problems, as in characters, plot, and story, which is what you just said for the first bucket. Don't worry about it.
They're not going to release extra minutes. They're releasing a whole other official season 5.
Oh. So in this woman's eyes, there isn't an extra finale. No, there's a whole other season 5, which is hidden. And her reasoning was because it wasn't labeled as S05, season 05, E, whatever, episode 1, 2, 3. Yes, the cope is at an all-time high, to say the absolute least. But this particular person, let's just say I think they're a wee bit special in the head.
I am not a genius.
Finally, a road I think I can travel down with you on.
But I think I just figured out a way to guarantee you win the Powerball jackpot.
Oh, okay. Who thinks she's right? Who thinks she has cracked the code? Hey, chat.
There are 11.3 total combinations of numbers needed in order to win the Powerball.
Now, I'm not going to play silly beggars. Clearly, she meant 11.3 million. Hey, Google, how many total combinations are there to guarantee a Powerball win? And how much money would I need to spend to make sure that happens? Let's see now. So there is actually a total of 292,201,338 different combinations, slightly off from that 11.3 million there. And I would need to spend $584,402,676 million to guarantee a win. I wonder what her number says.
At $2 per combination, that makes the total profit needed to guarantee your win at $22.6 million.
Wrong! Yeah, I think we've wasted enough time on that Looney Tune. But you just have to bring up X or another social media platform and type in Stranger Things episode 9, and you'll be greeted immediately by stuff like me on Jan 7th when episode 9 of Stranger Things doesn't come out and we were really just delusional. Yes, you were really just delusional. And it doesn't take much here. I have seen this Stranger Things Season 5 video popping up a lot in places. I decided to give it a watch. At first, I thought people were being silly about a secret episode 9 coming out. The more I watched the video, the more I realized there were too many coincidences. I'll be disappointed if there's no episode 9. You're gonna be very disappointed because you're a fucking moron. And again, there's some jokes all over the place. Stranger Things fans waiting for episode 9, which doesn't exist. Yes, it doesn't exist. Now, the finale of Stranger Things isn't like the finale of Game of Thrones. It isn't that bad. It's just not very good and very disappointing. So I think a lot of people were really hoping that they weren't going to get burned in the same way that they did at Game of Thrones, but maybe this has triggered some sort of PTSD in their mind because they can't seem to let it go. Well, when acceptance finally drops upon thee, all I can say is, please join us in the disappointed fans' light, because I think we're still going to be here for a good long while yet. I'll see you in the next video. You take care. Goodbye, Baloo.